think you know your own galaxy? There must be thousands of questions that flood one's mind when it comes to the galaxy. Well, look no further today. Today we've brought you the top 10 facts about our galaxy which might answer some of your questions. So without further ado, let's get back to the video. First, what is a galaxy? A galaxy is a huge collection of gas, dust, and billions of stars and their solar systems, all held together by gravity. We live on a planet called Earth, which is part of our solar system. Here are the top 10 facts. Number 1. It's warped. The Milky Way is a disk that measures about 120,000 light-years across, with a center bulge that has a diameter of about 12,000 light-years. The disk isn't perfectly flat though. It's warped due to our neighboring galaxy's large and small Magellanic Clouds. These two galaxies have been pulling on the matter in our galaxy like a game of tug-of-war. Number 2. It has an invisible halo. Our galaxy is made up of about 90% dark matter, a matter that cannot be seen, and about 10% luminous matter, or matter that we can't see with our eyes. This large quantity of dark matter causes an invisible halo that's been demonstrated by simulations of how the Milky Way spins. If dark matter didn't exist, then the stars within the Milky Way would orbit much slower than has been observed. Number 3. It has over 200 billion stars. As galaxies go, the Milky Way is a middleweight. The largest galaxy we know of, which is designated IC 1101, has over 100 trillion stars, and other large galaxies can have as many as 1 trillion. Dwarf galaxies such as the aforementioned Large Magellanic Cloud have about 10 billion stars. The Milky Way has between 100 to 400 billion stars, but when you look up into the night sky, the most you can see from any one point on the globe is about 2,500. This number is not fixed, however, because the Milky Way is constantly losing stars through supernovae and producing new ones all the time, about 7 per year. Number 4. It's really dusty and gassy. Though it may not look like it to the casual observer, the Milky Way is full of dust and gas. This matter makes up a whopping 10 to 15% of the luminous or visible matter in our galaxy, with the remainder being the stars. Our galaxy is roughly 100,000 light-years across, and we can only see about 6,000 light-years into the disk in the visible spectrum. Still, when light pollution isn't significant, the dusty ring of the Milky Way can be discerned in the night sky. The thickness of the dust deflects visible light, but infrared light can pass through the dust, which makes infrared telescopes like the Spitzer Space Telescope extremely valuable tools in mapping and studying the galaxy. Spitzer can peer through the dust to give us extraordinarily clear views of what's going on at the heart of the galaxy and in forming star regions. Number 5. It was made from other galaxies. The Milky Way wasn't always as it is today, a beautiful warped spiral. It became its current size and shape by eating up other galaxies and is still doing so today. In fact, the Canis Major Dwarf Galaxy is the closest galaxy to the Milky Way because its stars are currently being added to the Milky Way's disk. And our galaxy has consumed others in its long history, such as the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy. Number 6. We can't take pictures of it. Currently, we can't take a picture of the Milky Way from above. This is due to the fact that we're inside the galactic disk, about 26,000 light-years from the galactic center. It would be like trying to take a picture of your own house from the inside. That means that any of the beautiful pictures you've ever seen of a spiral galaxy that's supposedly the Milky Way is either a picture of another spiral galaxy or the rendering of a talented artist. Number 7. There's a black hole at the center. Like most larger galaxies, the Milky Way has a supermassive black hole at its center called Sagittarius A star. This black hole has an estimated diameter of 14 million miles, which doesn't include the disk of mass being drawn into it. This outer disk has about 14.6 million times the mass of our Sun in what would be similar to the orbit of the Earth. Number 8. It's almost as old as the universe itself. Scientists estimate that the universe is about 13.7 billion years old and that the Milky Way is about 13.6 billion years old. Although the main parts of the galaxy were formed in the early days of the universe, the disk and the bulge didn't fully form until about 10 to 12 billion years ago. Number 9. It's part of the Virgo supercluster, a group of galaxies within 150 million light-years. As big as it is, the Milky Way is part of even larger galactic structures. Our closest neighbors include the Large and Small Magellanic Clouds and the Andromeda Galaxy, the closest spiral galaxy to the Milky Way. Along with some 50 other galaxies, the Milky Way and its immediate surroundings make up a cluster known as the local group. And yet, this is still just a small fraction of our stellar neighborhood. Farther out, we find that the Milky Way is part of an even larger grouping of galaxies known as the Virgo supercluster. Superclusters are groupings of galaxies on very large scales that measure in the hundreds of millions of light years in diameter. In between these superclusters are large stretches of open space where intrepid explorers or space probes would encounter very little in the way of galaxies or matter. Number 10. It's on the move. Everything in space, including the Milky Way, is moving. The Earth moves around the Sun moves in the Milky Way, and the Milky Way cruises through space. The cosmic microwave background radiation, the radiation left over from the Big Bang, is used as a reference point to measure the velocity of things moving in space. The local group of galaxies, which the Milky Way is part of, is estimated to be moving at about 600 kilometers per second, or 2.2 million kilometers per hour. That's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel.